Hello, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Woo! Let's make some noise, y'all. Woo! Come on, come on, come on. We got people in there. Make some noise. They can't hear you raising your hands. You got to raise the roof with your mouth. All right, all right. So thank you, everyone, for being here to her 12th year. She's not so little anymore. And in a minute, you'll see that she's just not so little anymore. But anyhow, I am just so appreciative for you all being here, taking the time out. My name, if you don't know it, is Dr. Lisa T. Sistrunk. Whoop, 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 whoop. And today is my double nickels birthday. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So I have my wine. So not only is it my birthday, but it is the birth of my book, her 12th year. She's not so little anymore. And so we are going to, oh, I have my thing over there. I'm waiting for my DJ to come in here so she can play some music while we're waiting. We're going to wait a little bit, just a few minutes. And so tonight, we're not going to keep you all long, but things that we want to do and things that we want to share, we want to make sure that you know why I wrote the book. You know what the book is about, that you hear from, and it's part of it is a good bit of it is about, all of it really is about my daughter's life and what we went through. You're going to hear from some of the readers, people who read it before now, just to make sure it was on point and doing what it's supposed to do. And you might hear some other testimonials or other people wanting to say some things. And so we're just going to have a good time. And my DJ, we got some music. We got some music. You can speak.
Happy birthday.
No, not that. But we're just kind of getting it in just for a minute. No. Just for a minute. We're going to have some music. Come on. Come on. Go on. Do the music, Kamari. Come on. Any music. Not any music, but some good music. Oh. That's good. Hey. That's all right. We can be happy because I am happy. It is my birthday, and it is the birth of my book. We're going to have this going for a little while. Just don't knock over my wine. All right. We got B. Michelle and K. Joy in the house. And while we're not social distancing, you know, we've been tested, so we're good. I don't know about her, but she got a mask on, but that's okay. Oh, she has 2 masks. That's how we take care of each other. A happy author here! Woo! Happy birthday! All right, we got some more people coming in here. Hey, we happy! Woo! The birth of! That's right. You know this is love. We're on live. That's right. Okay. Turn it down. All right.
I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna have people come visit you.
Oh, we're having people come visit me?
Yeah.
All right. Who's gonna come visit?
What do we have up there?
All right, people dancing and clapping over there. Turn up the speaker, please. All right. Woo! All right. So
We are so happy that we have Lisa, Dr. Lisa Sistrunk. How about that? Dr. Lisa Sistrunk on her new release. incredible book. You have your 11 to 14-year-old children, daughters, and you might have a little question about how you're going to pose some subjects and to get her to navigate through life.
Look at that.
So what we're going to do is, in a few minutes, Dr. Lisa Sistrunk, Dr. Lisa T. Sistrunk is going to tell you how she raised her daughter, who is now right here in the house. And she is going to, first of all, we're going to have her come up and tell you about the different chapters. But we just want to know, what was your thought process on developing these questions and conversations for your daughter?
So, how her 12th year came about. I don't know if you all remember, well, this is about 15, 16 years ago, there were these stories, and I actually think it might have made it to 60 Minutes, but there was this story about, and I believe it was out in Conyers, and the middle schoolers had these little rubber bands, rubber bracelets, and they were just little cylinder rubber bracelets, but they were multicolored. And someone thought it would be a really good idea to assign a sexual activity to each of the colors. And you heard me say middle school, right? And so if someone popped your bracelet, or if they took it off, or if you gave it to them, then you owed them a sexual favor. And I was like, what is this about? And it just freaked me out and gave me so much anxiety about her being in middle school, going to middle school, just the whole 9 yards. And I said, wait a minute, who are these people who are going to take over her brain, and she's not going to listen to me anymore? And I have things I really need to tell her still. And so what I did was I started making a list, and she was 11 at the time. I just started making this list of all these things I wanted to revisit with her. I wanted to go deeper now that she was 11 and getting ready to be 12 and so I ended up with a list of somewhere around 30-ish. And I said, how am I going to get all of this in her? And I just kept saying, I've got this list, and it's 30-ish, whatever it was. And all of a sudden, God said, there are 52 weeks in a year. Take 1 week and talk about each of the topics. And so there were other topics that I wanted to talk about. And I ended up with a list of 48. So a few months later, she turned 12. And right then and there, every week, pretty much, we had a conversation about life, about something. And they were in-depth conversations. Sometimes it was, a conversation just at the table. Other times it was a conversation when we were going on a ride and she was kind of held hostage. And those were when we would have some of the more serious conversations. But the conversations ranged, as Kamari is getting ready to share with you the table of contents. You'll see what some of these conversations were about. And I kept the list. I shared it. I would carry it in my wallet and pull it out. Oh, what do we need to talk about? Or what haven't I spoken about? Or if she and her friends were in the car and they were talking about something, then I was like, oh, this would be a good time to bring up this topic, right? So, so that's what I did. And then as my friends, as their girls got older, I would share it with them. So that they can have these conversations, especially the dads. This is not a mom's book, even though when you go online to Amazon, one of the category it's in is motherhood, only because it was in family and parenting and motherhood, only because I don't even know why they didn't just put parents in there, or mother and father. But I'm going to work that out too, because I don't want dads to think, or men to think, that they can't have these conversations either, because you all are just as important. Dads matter. So yeah, so that's how the book came to be. And that was the emphasis for it. And then probably about 5 years ago, someone said, well, actually, no, it was God who said I needed to write it. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I kind of got Kamaria's okay, since it really is about her life. And here it is.
Okay.
Here it is.
Well, let's have Kamaria come up and tell us what these chapters are. And don't forget, everybody, you can go into the chat and give us some questions. Yes. And, just let's keep this live and interactive.
That's right.
Here,
come on this
Kamaria.
side, please. Thank you. That's okay.
Hi, everyone. All right, so happy birthday, Mom. And
Thank you, babe.
congrats.
Happy
I've been
birthday.
working on this
Whoop,
for
whoop.
a minute. So I'm just going to read out the chapter names and a few of the sub-chapters in there. My favorite ones and my the ones that made me cringe when we talked about it then and talk about it now, all that. All right. So she has her hopes for this book. A forward written by me because I love her.
That's right.
And I really believe in what she has put into this book, what she has put into me. There's a lot of conversations that I don't remember word for word, but I surely feel, I see myself walking through what she kind of led me through at that period and now. The things that she taught me, they're still there. And so I really think it has a lasting effect. And yes, dads do matter. And yeah, so chapter 1 is character. We have integrity and honesty, kindness, respect, loyalty, honesty and trust, actions and consequences. Chapter 2 is health and wellness, self-esteem, emotions, moods, and your cycle, and personal appearance. Chapter 3 is communications. She talks about speaking your mind, your body language, boundaries and expectations, which she still preaches to me about now. The art of apology, which I really appreciate that because that's not something I feel like is taught a lot. So I appreciate that one. Appreciation and gratitude. Chapter 4, friends, reputation, conflicts and disagreements, bullying, peer pressure, competition. Chapter 5, your purpose, your destiny, future planning and goal setting, education, careers, and life work. Chapter 6 is dating, falling in love, giving out mercy numbers and mercy dates. I appreciate that one too. Dating older guys, abuse, and chapter 7 is about sex. That's the cringy one, y'all. Listen, but it works. It was good conversations. It's necessary, and I appreciate her opening the door for me to be able to speak freely about this topic to her. So the sub chapter is intercourse, oral sex, LGBTQ, harassment, and unwanted advances in pornography.
Okay, hold on. Let me tell you all about that one. So chapter 7. So the book is written as if I were talking to Kamaria. So the parents or whatever adults want to share this with them. It's written for adults, but they can see the words that I used. And if it is helpful, then you can use those same words, or there are journal entries at the back of each of the sub chapters, so you can write your own notes. But when it comes to chapter 7 on sex, what I did was I wrote that definitely differently. Some of them, like pornography, oral sex, I kept those very high level. Intercourse, I kept those very high level. And if she says she made her cringe, yeah, I was stuttering and like, ooh, okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about this, because our kids don't think that oral sex is sex. They don't think that they can get any kind of diseases or anything like that. And so sadly enough, they don't think that. And so I keep it high level and I give just the facts. Okay, this, and this kind of information about it. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Chapter 8, safety, personal safety, internet safety, driving, motorcycling, guys. Internet safety right now is a thing that needs to be talked about. Chapter 9, ATOD.
Oh, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs.
Okay, we did talk about that.
Lots.
Stress management, drug use, substance abuse, smoking cigarettes, and vaping. Chapter 10 is about spirituality, your faith, the church, the mosque, the temples, synagogues, religion, perspective. She just taught me more about those. Chapter 11 was about life, being authentic, surviving versus thriving, volunteering and community service, leadership versus being a follower, family and heritage. Chapters 12 is about money, rich versus wealthy, money management, stewardship. I kind of need that one a little bit more now, but we can talk about it still. A letter to our daughters was another chapter she has in here. And absolutely enough.
My poem, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely enough is a poem that she wrote, and it's very beautiful. Then she talks about the Girlfriends Club, the group that she and I formed with other friends around my age and their moms, just to kind of learn how to interact with other women and just, I don't know what your reasons were. I just wanted to have fun. I don't remember what hers were, but they worked because I have good friends now. So, all right.
All right, thank you.
So that's my mom.
And that's my daughter. And so yeah, so the Girlfriends Club, we just took the girls and there was like a 2 year difference age gap in the girls, and all of the moms were training and raising their daughters the same way I was raising Kamari. So she had a set group of friends. We would do all sorts of activities, and we also carried around a little box that had strips of paper, and so the girls would take turns pulling out the strips and reading them, and it was anything from questions to statements, and we just wanted to hear where our girls were and what they thought, and then we would kind of give our perspective from the experience, the wisdom, and all of that, and just being in an environment where they can thrive and, just like she said, have fun, because we definitely did have fun. We also went to a lot of restaurants, from McDonald's. Kamari like the eating part, from McDonald's to fancy restaurants, because kids don't need to know how to eat and how to behave when they're out in public. So with that, I would like for have one of the readers come up and pop one of the readers up, babe, and just choose one. So my readers, get ready, and we're just going to share your thoughts about the book. So we've got Miss Tasha Ashford, and let's see, is she on? She's on mute.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm off mute.
Okay. All right. So what you have to say, Tasha?
Well, first I have to say happy birthday to my bestie.
Thank you.
I need recognition here. And I'm so proud of you. And this, I was dabbing my eyes when we were dancing and everything, and you just deserve everything that is coming to you. And you're a wonderful author, and I can't wait for the sequel. So I felt like this book was it was like having your best friend, which is kind of cheating because you are my best friend, but you're having that person right there beside you, where you need that, maybe a push or maybe that encouragement, like, yeah, you need to cover these topics, or this is something that you kind of didn't help me with Aaron though, but it helped me with Rose. So you probably need to find somebody who's got a son. But it was the encouragement that maybe you don't even know you need to have conversations that, we as women know that we should have, but sometimes we don't think about that's the time we should have them. And this is the window that we have and the opportunity to talk to our girls.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Loved it.
So thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I had everyone from people who currently have girls between the ages of 11 and 14, those who have raised girls, those who are in the education field, those who did not necessarily have, maybe they didn't have these conversations with their parents. And so I wanted their perspective also. So you will see their feedback in the book. So I want to take a moment and let's see, I'm going to share, I'll read one of the excerpts from Actions and Consequences, and this is from chapter 2. So the way I formatted this book is almost like they're short stories. So every section is self-contained. So you can either go through it every week in order if you want, or like I did, if I was hearing that the kids were having something, they're having a conversation or issue at school, then I was like, oh, that's what we're going to talk about. And so there's a definition, a quote by a famous woman, or a few quotes. And then there's what I call the Kamaria story, which is a true story. And then I talk a little bit more about the situation. So I'm going to read Actions and Consequences, and I want to make sure that don't want to get confused. So Actions and Consequences. Action is the process of doing something. A consequence is a result or conclusion of an action. Never blame another person for your personal choices. You are the one who must live out the consequences of your choice. And that's by Carolyn Miss. There's another quote. When you choose an action, you choose the consequences of that action. When you desire a consequence, you had darn well better take the action that would create it. And that's by Lois McMaster Bujold. As Kamaria started middle school, she began to lose focus on her schoolwork. I'm still not fully sure what all went on, but she would do her homework and either forget to turn it in or simply not turn it in. Talk, fuss, and yell as I did, she still didn't have consistency with turning in her assignments. As much as she was making me crazy with this nonsense, I was tired of the struggle and the headache. As she sat across the room from me, and believe me, the distance was necessary, I calmly informed her that doing her work and not handing it in was like me going to work and not submitting my hours to get paid. She understood that her grades were her pay. I shared that her father, teachers, and myself had done our 6th grade work. We passed and graduated high school. That this is completely about her. This was completely about her getting what she needed to pass and one day graduate high school to live the life she wanted to live. I explained that I was tired and I wasn't going to fight anymore. If she continued these actions, she would fail the 6th grade. And if that happened, we weren't going to pay for summer school. She would just have to repeat every year until her actions changed. Then I sent her to her room. So that was the Kamaria story. Well, I'm not sure which part got to her, but her completing and not turning in her assignments was soon a thing of the past. As parents, we truly cannot make you do what you will not do. Sure, some punishments will get your attention, some punishments will get your attention and have you comply, but ultimately, but we want you to understand the reasoning and get with the program. But we are looking in hindsight as parents and not from where you are when you were that age, when you were this age. You kids can't see what we can see from the same perspective. Sometimes you need things clearly spelled out. I have often heard, you just want to be her friend. Why are you explaining yourself? Or you talk too much to her. Well, I am still the mother she respects at 27. She and I have become friends now, and part of that is because we established a strong foundation of communication. But furthermore, over the past 15 years, she has developed the ability to make pretty sound judgments due in part to my explanations. I did not want Kamaria to do things just because I said so. Well, most of the time at least. I needed her to develop her decision-making skills that would successfully carry her throughout her life. So this is an example of, like I said, the short stories and how you can get in there, you can have a conversation, you can share the Kamaria story, or I really encourage parents, aunties, uncles, whomever it is who's getting this book and having these conversations, mentors, teachers, to share your own personal story. I think that's one of the things that helped with our bond, because I was very honest with her, age appropriately, especially in the sex chapter, but age appropriately about some things. And I found that, some people, when I've shared this over the years, that they were pretty astonished that I was open with her. But again, like I said, I wanted her to have these skills when she got out into the world. So, yes. Okay, we got somebody who wants to say something. Who is that? I can't see it right there. That's Cassandra. Oh, Cassandra. Okay, so this book is really a family affair. So like I said, it's definitely about Kamaria and my journey. But the picture is the artwork of my niece, Cassandra J. Sistrunk, also known as the Dope Art Queen. And she could not make it because she has 2 young sons and they probably didn't want to let her out the house. But she is on the line. So Cass, what you got to say?
Hey, first I want to say happy birthday, Aunt Lisa. I mean, if we were by ourselves, I'd do the whole Stevie Wonder happy birthday song. We'll play that later. And I wanted to say congratulations. Thank you so much for the opportunity. The more I hear the stories and everything that behind the book, I'm just honored that you even asked me to do the cover art. When you said what you wanted, I was able to make it happen.
Yes.
And it really was a joy. I'm the middle of 3 girls, so all of these stories and things that you're talking about
We definitely had ×3 in the house. I'm a boy mom, so I know my conversations will be a little different. Ha ha ha. But the hard conversations still need to be had. So I want to say,
Exactly. What?
She dropped.
Up, she dropped. Okay, all right. But you know what? I have been asked, "Hey, is this for boys too?" Well, I mean, pretty much, except for the conversation about your mood and your cycle and your mood. Although, I mean, I think there might be a little something in there for guys. I don't know anything about guys like that because most of my cousins who were around my age were girl cousins. So I don't know anything about the life and times of a young boy. But you know, I did tell someone who asked me that. I said, you know, I think you can still get something from that, but definitely you would have to input your stories, or you know, if the guy does it, the dad does it, or whomever, they would have to input some stories. Again, it doesn't make a difference if you are a male or a female. I think you can and you should have these stories with your young person who is going into their teens. So, you got a question?
Yes, but she also just walked up the room. So I guess we could maybe.
Okay, well, wait. Okay, all right. So let's see. Another one of the speakers, please, Mark. I mean, the readers.
Hey.
Hey, Priscilla.
Hey, Dr. Lisa T. Sistrunk. How are
Hey,
you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. First of
All
all,
right.
again, happy, beautiful birthday, my
Thank
dear
you.
friend.
Thank you. All right.
Now,
So share your thoughts about the book.
okay, so I wanted to come from a perspective that I feel like when I read the book, it was so engaging. It really captured my attention. Um, and I have to come from a point of view that I wasn't raised with I wasn't raised with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised with my father. And so I knew nothing. I didn't
Wow.
have any of these conversations. And so pretty much when you don't have someone that can speak to these topics that you bring up in this book, which is phenomenal, um, it leaves a person like me growing up clueless about life, clueless about the things that would have made me stronger, and I wouldn't have found myself in different situations if I had someone that would have sat down and talked me through these things that are a part of life. I mean, like, it's sort of like how they say you go to school and they teach you all this stuff, but they don't teach you the essential things that really matter, that's going to help you in your life, like financing, budgeting, and things of that nature. I feel the same way with this book. This book, as I was reading, I was like, man, I wish someone would have taught me. So not only is it for mothers, but I feel like I want to purchase it and give it to a lot of my even single friends who mentor and really embrace a lot of these kids that are out here that don't have someone. Like, I didn't have anyone, that I can use this book as a mentoring guide and talk and start and spark the conversations about those things, about sex and about apologies and about who are your real friends and consequences and actions, because I had no one. And there are
Mm,
so many adults that are lost even
mm.
in their 40s and 50s because they didn't have someone to kind of have these conversations to guide them.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you for that perspective. So what Priscilla was just saying was that she was raised with her father and not with her mother. So she was clueless. She had no conversations at all. And so it would have been very helpful had someone had those conversations, so she would not have gotten into maybe some of the situations or maybe had some of the feelings that she had growing up. And she said that she would purchase that, and she wants to purchase the book, and she wants to give it to some of her friends and colleagues who work with and mentor young people, so that they can help the ones who don't have anyone to have these conversations with. And I really appreciate that, Priscilla. I appreciate that perspective from that. So yes.
I'm going to show someone's.
Someone's comment. What does it say? I can't read over there.
Read that? Okay.
What does it say?
how fast can I get my copies? They are going to be gifts.
Okay, so the ebook is up, and I believe it's ready. It is a journal, so you can write in it. Today only, and I did not. Let's see. Can we see this? So today, there is a 30% discount on the ebook and the print book. The print book is going to take a week and a half once you order it. You can order it from the website, which is her12year.com. You can also order it from Amazon at Her 12th Year. Let's see, what else? Oh, and it's coming soon. It's going to be on our other business website, dhelevation.com. And Mark has it scrolling on the bottom down here. I got such a cool production team over here. But they're going to be able to, you'll be able to get it. And like I said, within about a week and a half, if you would like an autographed copy, autographed by me, I will be able to, you order it from the website, and I will be able to autograph it and send it to you. Yes.
Okay, we have another comment.
Oh, we have another comment.
Yes,
Questions coming over here on
from
the side.
Okay.
Cheryl Thompson Williams.
Okay.
Says,
What does it say?
all right, come on. Well, there we are. My granddaughters are 2 and 4. Do you think this information would be relevant before they become 12?
Absolutely. Before they become 12 or when they become 12?
Relevant?
Well,
Yes, when they become 12.
Okay, so it's for 11 to 14-year-olds. But of course, you know, that's just the general. I mean, there are some 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds who are a little bit more precocious, and they can have those conversations. Just make it age appropriate. But they're so, the principles run through just any generation, really. You know, I mean, you know, once I have my, you know, y'all know I have grandmuffins. They're my nieces or my other daughter, my bonus daughter's kids, and they are 6 and 5, just turned 6 and 5. And when they get older, we will be reading these things. I will be going through this with them along with their mom, so that they will know, you know how to navigate. So they're very basic principles in there. And I wanted to share something. One of the things that Priscilla was talking about when she was saying that, you know, having someone to have those kind of conversations. Our mom and dad, there wasn't an opportunity to talk about sex. Like, they just didn't make it available. And I didn't know that I was supposed to talk to them about it. And literally, while my mom told me all about my cycle and all this other stuff, we were driving. It was like maybe 2 months before I was going to go to college. We're driving in the car, and she says literally this. She says, "Lisa, when you go to college, you might find yourself in some situations. You know how you were raised, so we just expect you to behave how you were raised." I said, "Okay, are we talking about drinking? What are we talking about?" Because I had no idea. That's really what she said. Now, my parents didn't go to college, and so maybe they just weren't aware of what to say. I don't know. And I did talk to my dad about boys sometimes, but anyhow, I just thought it was it left me kind of very clueless as to what to say. But we do have a question, and Moses is going to read this.
The question is from Natalie Combs. Lisa,
I'm gonna tell you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. On the threat of making Kamaria repeat the grade, were you prepared to suffer the consequences of your actions making the threat? Just curious.
Yeah. Yes, I was. I definitely was. I was upset at the fact that it cost. But you know what? I figured that she would probably learn quicker. We can't always bail our kids out just because it's convenient for us. And we don't want to look bad as parents, like, oh my goodness, my daughter, you know, she failed the 6th grade and she's tall at that, so she's gonna look really, really tall with these younger kids. But I was tired. I was tired of fussing. I couldn't do it anymore. You know, either she was gonna get with the program, or she was just gonna stay in the 6th grade until she was 20. I don't know. So, but we have one more question. Okay.
This is from Andrew Henderson.
Okay. Hey, Marion.
I'm sure that the knowledge is applicable to the age, but is this book geared towards Black girls or girls of color?
This book is geared towards any girl, any her, she, 11 to 14. It is not specific about nationality, race, or anything like that. I just think that it's just very important to get the information out, because far too many of our kids, we don't have the conversations. And like yesterday, I was on a panel discussion, and we were talking about how we think because our kids know everything, the insides and outs about computers, right? And so they're just in there, they're doing their homework, especially now with COVID. So, they're going to class online or whatever it is. So as the kids are coming up, they're doing good in school and getting good grades. And in middle school, they're doing well. So we're like, oh, they've got this. We don't have to ask them any questions. We don't have to really check behind them because they got it. But if you know anything about 11 to 14, which all of you do because y'all are past that age, hormones come in, cute boys come in. And for boys, cute girls come in or whatever, right? And so you start to lose your mind and you lose your focus. And now we got COVID. So now they're leaving me in my room by myself with all this technology. And then your grades start to slip. And the parents are like, what are you doing? Or they're not really paying attention because parents are stressed out. And we're trying to, work our jobs from home or go out and whatever it is that's going on. So we really have to keep a better eye on especially middle school, because so I didn't have a middle school experience. I went to Catholic school and it went from kindergarten to 8th grade. So I know nothing. So that's why middle school freaked me out so much. And I was just like, I need to teach her these things. And I had to be prepared. Like, I did read this book, like Preparing Your Child for Middle School. And it was really preparing me for middle school. I did feel a lot better. I wish I don't know if I got it from the library, if I have it in my library, but it was really good because it kind of took me down a notch, because I was just like, I don't know what they're doing in middle school. And, I was on the PTA in elementary school and I volunteered. So I go to middle school and I'm like, hey, I'm ready to volunteer. And they're like, oh no, we don't do that here. We don't do that. What do you mean? No, we want the kids to be on their own. And I was hurt, but I was confused. So.
Well, this is your opportunity. You have been invited to speak virtually at Miss Marion's middle school. So.
All right. Thank you. I will be there. I do speaking engagements. So I will be there. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So let's see. Let's get another reader to share their thoughts.
Okay. I see Stephen.
Oh, Stephen Brown. And yeah, let's put Steve on here.
All right.
Hey, big brother.
Oops,
Wait, hold on. You're on mute.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. He's still on mute. Hold on.
I'm off mute now. All right.
There we go.
I'm glad you gave me that look. I'm like, what happened? Oh, I'm on mute. Hey, little sister, it's such an awesome privilege to be here to speak with you. Wish you happy birthday and congratulations.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
I don't know if you have a specific question, but I will jump in with the comments first.
Okay, jump in with the comment.
There was this young lady that was out, and you actually brought up about being applicable to boys. And I'll just emphatically say yes. Everything I read, I could, it's the same conversation man has with his son, or a mother should have with their son. So the conversations was about life, and it's a transition of life. And we're just talking about, the boys not going through a menstrual cycle, but it's a rite of passage around that time. It's certain things boys are experiencing with their hormones differently. So the conversations are necessary with boys. Just wanted to emphasize that, no doubt. Every topic. I mean, again, it's life, from sex to budgeting. I mean, there's no difference as far as male, female, who needs to hear that point. And speaking of at that point, the middle school, as a dad that has raised two lovely, mature women now, young women, it's hard not to look back and say, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But when I was reading your book, of course, I said, woulda, coulda, shoulda. And specifically for me, it was around the sex conversation. And I think I might have commented on my comments. It was probably more to do with awkwardness as the father, myself. You know, being more of an introvert versus extrovert, you know, a lot of things tied into that I just didn't have that real talk. Let's keep it real. My wife did. So there was a balance there. And I also said, well, she's got that covered. She's going to talk to our daughters about the sex piece and the boys, et cetera, et cetera. And the way my wife is, as you've met her, she's right between the eyes. So I felt like they heard it very clear, very direct. And maybe I felt I didn't need to. Again, in hindsight, I realized the father's voice is so vital in that conversation, with that conversation.
Right. And
go ahead.
Okay, and so I want to recap because we also have some people on Zoom link, and so they are listening also. But what Steve was saying, as a dad who helped raise two lovely, mature young women now, he had some conversations, but there was definitely an awkwardness around sex because he figured that their mom would take care of that. And he, you know, as he was reading the book, he said he wished he would have, could have, should have on some things. He would have jumped in a little bit more and had those conversations. But he also said, in regards to this book being for boys, that boys, you know, they definitely have some hormonal situations and rites of passages around that age. And this book is definitely for them as well. People having those same exact conversations. And I really appreciate that. And one of the things, I gave the readers a questionnaire, and at the bottom I said, you know, is there something that was missing in here? And one of the things that Steve said was, where was the dad's voice? Where was Kamaria's dad's voice? And I really, you know, talking to her, he really didn't really talk to her about some things. Some things he did, but some things he didn't. But I just felt that this was something that I wanted to share with her. It wasn't exclusive of anybody else having these conversations, because I know she had conversations with my mom, my sister, and different people, her dad or stepmom. But I wanted to make sure from my perspective and from my experiences that that we had those discussions. I didn't want to leave them to chance. So I am real big on dads mattering and dads having the conversation. It's great if you all can have the conversation together, but it's also great if you have those conversations separately, because there is a different perspective. So the things that I would say about boys would be different from a dad because he's coming from a male perspective. So so that was in there. Kamari, can you hand me the table of contents again, please? So, all right, I just wanted to kind of go over the general, the headings of the chapters, not the subtopics, but we have character, health and wellness, communication, friends, your purpose, your destiny, dating, sex, safety, alcohol, tobacco, and drugs, and other drugs, that's ATOD, spirituality, life, and money. So there are 12 chapters. Again, this is a process I took Kamaria through every week almost of her 12th year. We had a conversation. It's not a one and done, let me sit here and just read all through this and then I'll have all these conversations. It was, okay, what's going on in her life now? What is my spirit leading me to talk to her about? What is she and her friends talking about that, oh, let me bring this up to her. And they are definitely real life stories in there. So I would like to read, well, let me share something. Let's see. So the book, the ebook is available immediately on Amazon. The print book, you can purchase it on her12thyear.com, and 12th is 12th, her12thyear.com. If you'd like an autographed copy, you can purchase it on her 12th year. I mean, yeah, purchase it there on her 12th year and I'll autograph it and send it to you. Amazon, it takes about a week and a half for it to get to you. And let's see, what else? Oh, so today there is a 30% off sale until midnight tonight. And then after that, they go to regular prices. And there are special prices on orders of 10 or more. So you can just email me at info@dhelevation.com, dhelevation.com. So let's see, I'm going to read chapter 11, and chapter 11 is on life, and this section is
hold on.
yes.
We have another comment from someone.
Okay, put your mask down so they can hear you back, please.
From Susan Johnson.
Okay.
Hi, Lisa, first of all. I'm so happy for you. Congrats and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Do you have any suggestions on how to approach a child who shuts down when questioned? My niece is a classic middle schooler who has problems with being productive and focusing. Thanks.
Okay. So, hey, Susan. So the question is suggestions on how to approach this with a child who shuts down, a middle schooler who shuts down. I had a colleague whose daughter was about 4 years older, or is about 4 years older than Kamaria. And I remember when we were together at a conference, her daughter was in middle school, and she was sharing with me that if her daughter started to bring up a topic and she would start to ask questions, the daughter would shut down. But if she didn't ask any questions and just listen, her daughter would open up more. And then at another point, maybe a little while later, the mom might say something or something like that. But that was how she was able to kind of give her input and her thought process, or even say, hey, how do you think, how did that happen? I remember you saying you had a issue with your friend in school. How did that go? But one of the things that you can do is some parents, some of the readers said they wouldn't mind giving the Kamaria story, having their daughter read that section of it, because they're very relatable. So that was one of the things that, many people said that they would do. But you just, have to continue to build up that trust and do that. So, yes.
One of your readers is about to come on.
Okay, one of my readers, all right.
And there we are.
Oh, Dr. Joanna.
Laura, you can hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Great. How's everybody doing? Congratulations and happy birthday.
Okay, happy birthday. Hold on one second. You're on Zoom and you're on StreamYard. So yes, turn off the Zoom, please. Okay.
Was that her voice?
Can I hear you? Oh, no, we can't hear you. Hold on. Can you log off of Zoom?
Okay.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, okay. No, because, log off of Zoom, please.
You can just turn the volume on.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
She didn't have sound in there. Sound came from Zoom.
Oh, your sound came from Zoom. Okay, so, all right, so.
Log on.
Okay,
Zoom.
yeah, log on to Zoom and log off of Stream.
No, log on to Zoom and just turn the volume down on the one that you have up right now.
Oh, okay, on StreamYard. Okay, while you're doing that, while you're doing that, I'm going to read Striving versus Thriving. Striving is a grim struggle, just barely getting by. Thriving is living and thinking abundantly. You can never live your life looking at yourself from someone else's point of view. And this is from Penelope Cruz. Thriving is being hopeful, having a positive outlook, taking healthy risks, having dreams, and moving towards those dreams. We are all meant to thrive. Though some days surviving is the best we can do. And that's okay. We're allowed to have low energy, off and down days. However, it's important to keep in mind that those days will pass. Thriving days should outweigh the surviving days. I tried to ensure KJ had new and different experiences growing up. I wanted her to have a broader view of what life outside of our suburban community was like. She tried different sports, was a part of different social activities, attended diverse cultural events, sampled lots of different ethnic foods, and was blessed to travel to different parts of the country and even Europe when she was in middle school from across, with other middle schoolers from across the state. We used to hang out at the airport to watch the planes land and take off. I would ask her where she thought the plane was coming from or where it was going, what the weather would be like when the people arrived, and why the passengers might be traveling. Starting at a young age, I encouraged her to dream, to make up bedtime stories, and to stretch her imagination. When she was around 12, I began teaching her how to set goals, plan, and create her first vision board. We talked about goal setting, and we'll talk about goal setting and planning in chapter 5. I'm going to skip down to a little area, and I'm going to say, read, your thoughts dictate your emotions, and your emotions lead to your actions. What you do today sets you up for your life, for the life you will live tomorrow. Thriving is an option, a decision, and an intention. Even on those tough days, it's okay to acknowledge your emotions. In fact, it's healthy to do that. After you acknowledge your sadness, hurt, and anger, give yourself a set amount of time to feel all of it. Let's see. Okay. Once the time is up, move on to something else to clear your mind from the situation. When your emotions are under control, revisit the situation and find the benefit in the lesson. And that's just a part of surviving and thriving. Yes.
We have a question.
We have a question. Okay.
Angela Janelle.
Okay.
What was your favorite part of the writing process?
My favorite part was reliving many of the stories, the experiences that we had. It was just really amazing to me that I was even led to do this with her. Like I said, I don't know, it just dropped in my spirit to just have these conversations with her, and just to watch her develop in her thought processes. So as I'm writing this, especially, sometimes I'm writing when she was in the 11th grade, and then not the 11th grade, when she was 11, and then other times she's 14, and I can kind of see how she changed and shift. And then, of course, watching her, who she is now, it just gave me a different perspective. It was the ability to slow down and just reflect. And too often we don't do that as parents. And so that's what I really enjoyed, having those conversations. And I remember saying to Kamaria, look, you've got to read this book because this is about your life. And she said, Mom, you've been talking about me my entire life. So why do I have to read? I have to read it. But I did make her read the chapter on sex so that she would, she would be okay with that. She could give me the okay. Yes.
I have a question. Where can they order the book?
So you can go to her12thyear.com and order the book. Oh, okay. So tell me to display this. You can go to her12thyear.com, or next week you'll be able to go to dhelevation.com and order the book, and it is available on Amazon. All right. So Joanna, we got you?
I'm here.
Okay, yes. All right, Dr. Joanna, let's share your thoughts about being a reader.
Fascinating. As I told you before, one of my biggest problems is I have to keep busy. So the format was good for me because there were moving parts, and I really needed those moving parts in the book. I mean, it just wasn't one person talking with ideas that were put together. And that was very, very good for me.
Okay.
I can really, really relate to the Kamaria story. Even though I thought my daughter would never get to this stage, and she'd always been so loving, so hugging, so outgoing. But she can stand home one day and not talk to me about it. But the phone, play game.
Right.
So it helped me to realize, well, I'm not in this all alone. I thought it was just my child doing things like that. So that's what it helped me to realize, as my grandmother would say, this too shall pass.
Yes.
And I don't know. I'm learning to be a little bit more patient and not push my thoughts, my views on.
Right. And you know what? And that's one of the things. Thank you for sharing that. One of the things that was, and I still go through this now, coming to Kamaria and wanting to share and give my input. But I would say things like, when I was your age, I had this situation, or maybe here are some things that you could do. And I would give her multiple things, and then wait and see what she did. Because when I would say, you need to do this and you should do that, she didn't receive that well. So I had to kind of step back some, and it was difficult. It was really difficult. But doing that, I think helped her with her decision making, and it gave her some options that she could look at and see if it worked for her. Yes.
You have a reader from Germany who would like to
I've got a reader from Germany. Woohoo! Yes.
That's not Germany.
Nope,
hey.
hold on. Let's see.
Germany. Oh, there's Germany. All right, we're coming up here right now.
Okay.
I was
Hi,
thinking
Allison.
today, I look really different.
Yes, yes, this is the author, Allie West. Yes, ma'am.
So I am, you know that I'm 6 hours ahead of you guys. So it's like 1:30 in the morning here. And because of you, so a couple of things. You know I have to love you and be a really great friend because you saw what I looked like earlier. And so I got dressed 15, 20 minutes before you started. I was like, I'm just putting real clothes on today for you. And it was nearly midnight here. So first of all, happy birthday. I love you. I'm so happy for you and congratulations. And so you're talking about to readers, but mine is coming from a different perspective. I was with you in this journey a few years ago when encouraging you to do this. So why now?
Why now? It was just really pressing upon me. And you were encouraging me, like, have you written a chapter yet? Have you written? I was like, I'm getting there. But shoot, I had to finish writing the darn dissertation first. But I would write some in between. But really, it was just something that was more and more, it was just really kind of pressing on me. And I really feel, people think I'm just like kind of pie in the sky and there's bluebirds on your shoulder and all that other stuff, right? But I really believe that life is amazing. And even on the tough days, life is really just amazing. And so, so I do talk to adults about this, but if we talk to our kids about this, when they become adults, when we give them the tools as they become adults, they can see that life is more amazing. They have the tools in their bag, that they can build their life. What's the saying? It's easier to build a strong child than to fix a broke man or broke adult. And so, not that I'm giving up on adults because I'm an adult, right? But they just need a little bit more. And because life is so technical and everybody's in front of a screen, we don't talk as much. And in this time of COVID, there are some things that I call the COVID come up. And COVID has been very hard. It really has. And I'm not making light of it. But one of the things that I believe is a COVID come up is that we've had a chance to slow down. We've had a chance to reflect. And I know that kids, young people are really struggling in this as adults are kind of slowing down. They're just really struggling. And it's just time that we just need to have the conversations. We need to have the conversations. So, yeah.
Okay, great. So a couple of things. So I think that this is the most opportune time in the world to do it because people are in the house and with their families and with their kids. And parents are in a position now that they haven't been in our lifetime where I won't say forced, but kind of forced to spend that QT with their kids and their families because of COVID, because of how everything adjusts. And what we're finding a lot of the times is that families don't talk. They don't know how to communicate with one another. And so I think that this is like divine timing because in this position where you have families who are in the house, whatever those dynamics look like, these are great times where they have all that time where they're spending together, where they can be intentional about it. So I think that this is the perfect time, and I think it's divine time. And I was messing with you because you know this journey we've been on with these books. So I think that it's great. I'm going to purchase a couple as gifts because mine they're grown. And so one thing I wanted to circle back to before I get off of here is that when you said when your parents and you didn't have those conversations with your parents, well, I don't think that the times were different then, and they weren't equipped, and it wasn't as free, and things were just because that information wasn't passed down from their parents, or And so now we're in this age where we're in this information age, and everything is right at their fingertips, and we want to look at how we can make some adjustments. Heck, I won't say I want to go back to 12 in my own self and get this book. I want to go and do this over. And I definitely don't want to re-raise Lauren. I definitely don't. But I think that it would have been a very useful tool at that time to have such a tool out here. So I think that this is a beautiful and wonderful gift to everybody at this time because it can be used, especially in these times. And so I have had some recent conversations with people who have children at home, and they are challenged. And so I'm going to buy a few copies for gifts for some of those challenged parents who are ready to send their kids back to school or somewhere.
All right. Well, thank you, author Allie West, alliewest.com. Hold on one second, Kamari. One of the things I want to make sure that everyone heard what she said, the last part that Allison said, it was that in this time where people are at home with their kids and they're ready to send their kids back to school, and it's very challenging and all of that, you know, this is a divine timing to have some of these conversations instead of everybody just going to their prospective corners and doing that kind of thing. And that's part of I'm creating. It just is just off the ground. It's her 12th year community, and it's on Facebook. And that is a space for parents, guardians, grandparents, because there are a lot of grandparents raising their kids, their grandkids, to just ask questions, and we can kind of support one another there, share resources and all of that. So, and Kamaria, you said, go ahead. You had what? Let's see, I think, I want to stand up a little bit. Okay, she's got a little tech. There's something going on? What are we doing?
Yeah, well, you just talk.
Okay, I'll just keep going. All right. Let's see. There was something I wanted to say, and I don't quite remember what it is. Well, let me see. Let me look on my. You have a question? Okay. The author B. Michelle has a question. Yes, ma'am.
Having given birth to her 12th year, what is your goal for all of these people listening right now?
Okay, so my goal is I've given birth on my birthday. How about that? So my goal for this is really, I really want to get the word out. I really want people, just like Allison said, her kids are adults now, but she's going to buy the book. Or like Priscilla said, she's going to buy the book for people who she knows mentors other kids or kids in this age range. So that's what I would like for you all to do. If this is not particular to you in your life right now, purchase the book and give it as a gift. These conversations are important. And going back to Priscilla and what Allison said, they both said, I mean, they're full-grown adults, right? And they said, I wish somebody had these conversations with me. And I think it was Natalia who said, actually, I don't remember who said it actually right now, but you said something along the lines of, will this transcend? It was Cheryl Thompson. She said, will this transcend, because she has grandchildren who are 2 and 4. And like I said, these principles, these are life principles. These are just starter conversations. You will continue to have the conversation as your child, your niece, your grandchildren, as they grow. But these conversations are, like I said, principles throughout life, complete principles throughout life. So I encourage you to share this. I had one reader said, adults need to read this for themselves. So we have another reader, Mark?
Yes, we do. There's a Rosie.
Rosie, okay. She doesn't have a video on. Maybe does she want to? Okay, go ahead. Let's have Rosie's perspective.
Are you there?
She's on mute.
There she is. Oops. Hold on.
Hold on. Wait, can't hear you yet. Okay. Hey, Shelby Rose Ashford.
Hey, you put me on the spot.
So, what's your thought? So, Shelby is what are you, junior?
Junior.
Goodness, a junior in college. So, you read this. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a good book. I think me and my mom talked a lot about the topics, and I think they're helpful. And I went back and asked her about certain things like, didn't we talk about this? And maybe she got something from you. I think it would help a lot of younger people that don't have moms that are open, as open as my mom is, to talk about things.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So hold on. I got a note from join the community, and there we go. Yep. Sorry, I'm getting notes. This whole thing is new to me. So join the community, the 12-year community, so that we can help transcend. We can help our young people. And I really want it to be a safe and confidential and a sacred space that we can have these conversations and that we can share resources. So do we have any other questions? So, okay, if we don't have any other questions right now, I want to read what? Mark, see a question?
No.
Oh, we have
Oh, okay, hold on. We have somebody who wants to, what?
join. 1 second.
Somebody wants to join. Okay, I'm going to start reading because, yeah. So, but I appreciate people listening on Facebook, YouTube, on Instagram, on Zoom, StreamYard. I really, really, really appreciate it. And y'all, let me tell y'all, I even have a TikTok because I coach 17 to 30-year-olds. I guide them and help them with the tools that they need so that they can walk more confidently into their lives as adults. And so the 17-year-olds are in high school, and so I have a TikTok. It's what is it? It's Dr. Lisa _DHE, and I just kind of try to give them some encouragement to speak life into them. So, all right. So this one is what? Hold on. What do we have here?
Tell me you'd like to say something.
Oh, okay. All right. My other daughter. All right. Okay. So that's one of my mini muffins. Hello. Oh, you saw me on Instagram and Facebook? Okay. Those are my mini muffins. All right. So, all right. But I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all being here with us, asking these questions and seeing this as a valuable resource. I actually, when I saw this, and I was just like, wow, I had no idea. I was a reluctant doctoral student. Literally, I had a friend of mine who, I don't know, Mark, is James in the room in there? But James asked me 3 months before I started my doctoral program. He said, why don't you get your doctorate? And I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. And literally a couple of weeks later, I was having a conversation with someone and I heard, that's what you're going to do your dissertation on. And I turned around. I just kind of shook my head. The next week, I was having a similar conversation with someone, and I knew we were in the room by ourselves. And I heard, that's what you're going to do your dissertation on. And I started to turn around, but I was afraid. And I said, no, I'm not turning around. I was like, really, in my spirit, I was like, God, stop playing because I'm not trying to do this. Well, here we are some years later, and I am a doctor. And I said, okay, I don't know what you want me to do with this, but you're going to figure it out because you put me in here and this is what we're going to do. And, some months after that, he just gave me that drive. Allison was asking why now, but God just gave me that drive to finish this book. And I just really think it's going to make a difference, just a game changer for the relationships within households, the relationships that girls are going to have with themselves and about themselves, and knowing, I really want families and people to have real conversations, whether it's with a boy or a girl. Have the real conversations, tell them the real deal, because it's too much fakeness out here and it's not worth it. It's a risk. It's not worth it. So this is chapter 4, and this is on conflicts and disagreement. Conflicts, an extended struggle or battle, a clashing disagreement as between ideas or interests. 10% of conflicts are due to a difference of opinion. 90% are due to the wrong tone of voice. That's unknown. My father used to say, don't raise your voice, raise your argument. And that's by Teresa Tartanon. As you grow and mature, you will find yourself in more internal and external conflicts. This may come across as being uncomfortable in certain conversations or situations, getting irritated by things that didn't bother you before, or having two opposing thoughts and feelings about a topic that you once felt sure about. These conflicts that arise because you are shaping and reshaping arise because you're shaping and reshaping your values and opinions about your life. This is completely normal and occurs as you have a greater awareness about the world around you and your place in it. But while it is normal, it can be very frustrating and even scary, as your newly formed ways of looking at the world around you may pull you away from the friends who no longer think like you. There is a time and a season for everything under the sun. Not all the relationships you have are meant to stay with you throughout your life. This could seem like a scary thought, but just trust your feelings and know that everything will work out for your good. And then some of the things that I put down here, the key things to ask yourself are, is the conflict or reason behind the conflict worth arguing over? Has the person whom you are in conflict with shown this type of behavior before? If so, is it something that you want to keep dealing with? You do have a choice. When you have a conflict raging inside of you, which part feels most like you? Which part makes the most sense to follow? Which will likely end up better for your situation? And so again, these are short stories, they're short vignettes about very meaningful things and topics that we really need to talk about with our children. Yes, Mark.
Okay, we have someone from YouTube who asks, will you be writing additional books that speak to those next seasons of life for young women?
So the sequel to this is the 21st year, moving from parenting to guiding, because that's a whole nother thing. If you have an older child, you know it's a whole different life. So the answer to that is yes. And that one is not necessarily going to be, it's not going to have the her on it. It's just the 21st year. But yes, so that answers that question for you. Yes.
Then Linda Lowe asks, is this book specifically for parents? How can other family members benefit from reading the book and using it as a resource?
Okay. Hey, Linda. So the book is not specifically for parents. It's for anyone who has a direct impact or who wants to make a positive impact in the life and the healthy development of an 11 to 14-year-old. So it's for anybody. And, if, as a aunt or a cousin, an older cousin, if you read it and you're spending time with them and y'all are just going to Six Flags or you're going to the store or whatever, if you're a mentor, you can read these. You can have these conversations. They're short enough that you can kind of remember some of what was said. And again, every section has a journal entry for you to jot your notes and maybe, I want to share this personal story with them, or I want to write down the notes or the thoughts that my child said to me or the child said to me. And maybe you're having this conversation and they're 11 and you want to see how much they've grown when they're 14. You might want to revisit some of these. When you're going to want to revisit them. It's just, we talked about them then, but we still talk about them now. And the girl's 27, about to be 28. So, that's just the life of a parent. You're always a parent. You're always a mentor. You're always an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent. And so, you see things or they bring some situations to you and you're just in that guiding and molding place. So you have something else? Let's see. We have another person who wants to share, and we're going to go. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it?
I can see Cass there.
Okay.
Wake her.
Let's see. Who else?
There
Okay.
she is. We lost it. There we go. Waking her
What?
up again.
Okay. All right. So we have Cass the artist back, and she's on mute still, honey. Oh, now she's
I'm here. I'm not on mute. I'm muted myself.
Okay. All right. So you were saying, do you remember what you were saying, or you want to say something else?
I
So
do.
Cass the artist.
We can just
Cass the artist
reiterate.
is my niece, and she
Yes.
is the one who designed this. Can you go in my office and pull the picture off the wall at the top so we can show the original artwork?
Okay.
So,
Coming back.
okay. All right, Cass.
You want me to go? I can go. It's no problem.
Go ahead.
I know, right? We have the gift of gab in our family. It's really a thing. Let me turn my heater off. I wanted to say thank you. I know earlier I got a little cut off, but it was really me just saying how, as I hear you share the stories from the book, I understand the complete importance of her 12th year. In the illustration here, I'll just describe it since you have it kind of held up. We have our tween girl, and she has all of these thought bubbles, right? So it's like question marks, what's happening? We got religion, we have drugs, we have sex, we have gender, we have everything, sports, athletics, and it was perfect. It was your idea, of course, Aunt Lisa. And I was honored to be able to execute it for you because it made perfect sense. That it honestly is probably exactly what my mind looked like when I was 12 years old, like what's happening. So I'm really glad to be a part of this project. I'm honored. I feel official. I've already looked it up on Facebook. I've tagged you in about 3 or 4 posts already. And I've been telling everybody to go on there and get it on Amazon. And I'm also going to direct them to your website. So I wanted to say congratulations, happy birthday, just everything. Today is just a fantastic day. It is your day.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking on this this challenge, this opportunity, and kind of pulling out what was in my head and what we talked about. And one of the things, so coming out of her head, and the question came, did I make this for girls of color? And so we wanted to make sure that she looked like every girl. So if somebody was very fair skinned, because black children, black skin, we come in all shades and everything. So you might have somebody who, in your family who's really, really, really light, but put them in the right sun, they're gonna look like this, right? So she is every girl between the ages of 11 to 14, every her, every she, right? And so in the middle, the bubbles are small, but then they start to get big, and it's like a swarm. It almost looks like a tornado going around her head because we just have a lot of thoughts. And again, I don't know anything about what goes on in a boy's head, a young man's head. Maybe Mark knows if you want to talk about this, but I don't know if all that goes on in your head. I'm thinking you might. I'm gonna let you talk in a minute, but this is really what goes on in this time. And just like Dr. Joanna said, she said that her daughter is just, she could be home all day and not want to talk to her because she has all of this going on. But we have to, they do hear us. There are times when I didn't think Kamaria was listening. And as she got older and she would, I'd hear her saying some of the things that I said. And I was like, oh, she was listening. How about that? So this was a labor of love. And I'm just really glad that it poured out of me. So let's see. Do we have any other questions? Mo, you want to look on there and see if we have any other questions? Brenda, do you have a question? No. What?
Would you tell them where they can purchase the book?
Okay, so right now today you can purchase the book at her12thyear.com. You can go and get the ebook right now on Amazon. Today there is 30% off until midnight tonight, but the prices are $9 for the ebook and $19.99 for the print book. Again, there are journal pages on the end at the end of them. We do have special pricing if you'd like to order more than 10 books. You just email me at info@dhelevation.com. Next week, it will be available on our website, DH Elevation. But you all have my social media now, so you can, inbox me or something like that, and just share the information. Really share the information because it really is important. And I think that this can really be a game changer for our youth, for families, just for the connection. If you have an 11 to 14-year-old girl or boy at home right now, don't just leave them to their own technical devices. They've got it. No, they don't. Remember, they got all this swarming around their head. Mark, when you were in middle school, was all this swarming around your head too?
Absolutely. I couldn't focus whatsoever. And so at that age, in junior high school, we needed some direction. And that's where you often, for many boys, you had a father who maybe didn't communicate as well. So they were just very direct with the do as I said. And, they'll suck that lip back in. I'll give you a reason to poke your lip out. So, the book is extremely helpful to understand that men can communicate, that they need to learn how to express themselves, especially as they grow and want to have more meaningful relationships with both men and women. So your book is timely, and it can definitely help our young fathers out there who grew up as I did, to help them to be able to engage their daughters in the way that they need to be engaged.
Right. And that is important. One of the things, I don't remember who said it now, but back then it was Allison when I was talking about my parents and not having the conversation about sex. Mark was talking about the young boys and having all these thoughts and everything and just couldn't focus, right? So having these conversations, and a lot of times we might think, oh, well, my mom didn't talk to me about that. My dad didn't talk to me about that. I figured it out, so they'll figure it out. No, because there's too many other people and noise and sound going in their head and in their ear. They need to know that they can count on you. I told Kamaria, I said, I need to know, like there's a section in there about lying because she went through this little lying phase or whatever. And I told her, I need to know that I can trust you. And I need to hear it from you. Don't let me hear it from the streets, right? Because if you tell me what happened, then I'll know how to support you. And that didn't mean that if you did something wrong, then I'd be like, oh, you told me, okay, no, there were consequences. I even told her, God forbid, if she committed murder or whatever, I was going to be there for her. She was probably going to go to jail, but I'd be there for her. But I was not, I needed to know I can trust her, and she needed to know she can trust me. And she would come to me, and sometimes I really wanted to run away like this. No, I don't want to hear it, right? But I would tell her, if you really need to tell me something and I'm not focusing, you put your arms on my shoulders and you look me in the eye and you say, Lisa Dawn, and that's going to get my attention. And I'm going to stop and I'm going to listen, because they need someone to talk to and not their peers, because their peers don't know nothing either. So, not to say that I had all the answers by far. It was definitely a community, a village, a whole world to help raise this child. It was everybody, right? But there were people who I had, I would have her in the right kinds of environments. I would have her in the right kinds of environments so she could have those conversations with other people, should she not want to come to me about something. So, yes.
Okay, and this is from Vanessa Brown on YouTube. As a boy mom, this book would have been great to reference. We had a lot of interesting moments with Thomas during those middle school years.
Yes. So see, it is good. And actually somebody asked me, while I was writing this, can you write something for boys? And I thought about it, but I don't have any boy stories. Other than the fact that I like boys and Kamaria like boys. That's the only kind of reference I had. I didn't know. So I was just, some people, some coaches I know, some life coaches who are males, I've encouraged them to, that they can write and maybe we can ghost write together or something. But I appreciate that. So, there you have it. I think 3 people have said, and even one of them, well, Mark was one, and then Steve, and then Vanessa, saying that this is good for boys too. So, any other questions?
We have a comment. Thank you very much for the dialogue. Nikki has mentioned,
thank you.
And she said that this is going to be very helpful for people raising teens.
Okay,
thank you,
Nikki.
She didn't say that exactly, but let's see.
Thank you. Okay, middle schoolers. Middle schoolers. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay.
We have about 10 minutes.
Okay, we got about 10 minutes. Kamaria, what you got? Okay.
Hold on. Yes.
Oh, what? What are we paying? What?
Okay.
Well, okay. Never mind. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know. Some technical difficulty. That's okay. This is new for my production team and I. I want to share with you all. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is a hummingbird. And the hummingbird reminds me, this was my mom's hummingbird, and this reminds me of her. And so I have decided that the hummingbird is going to kind of be my logo and my go-to when I do anything about books or the 12th year, particularly. Just kind of have my mom here. I really wish she were here today, but she is here. She definitely is here. And I know she's saying, "You go, girl," and I'm glad you finished that. And so I just appreciate the mom she was. And while I didn't know that I could or that I should, and they didn't open the door for me to talk to my parents about sex, we had so many conversations. People would say I was my dad's sidekick as much as I was my mom's twin. So we used to have a lot of conversations. And like I said, I used to go to my dad. I remember asking my mom something about this boy and why did he do this? Because I really liked him. And she said, well, why don't you talk to your dad? Because he was a boy. And I kind of looked at her and I was like, because you don't think of your parents as that way, right? And so I went and I talked to him, and we were able to have these conversations. So I just really appreciate it. I appreciate you all spending this time here with me. I've got a glass of wine. I really need to find out what kind of wine my sister brought, because it's really, really good. And do what now?
Repeat these.
Okay, I'll repeat that in a second. But I just want to raise a glass. If you've got some water, if you got whatever, some coffee, you got whatever, wine, something stronger, that's fine too. But I just want to raise a glass. I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time out to be here with us, to kind of listen to me kind of go on and all of that. You know, here's to us, here's to you, here's to, you know, pouring into the kids who are coming up behind us. Here's to celebrating life and all of the wonderfulness that it is. I just really appreciate you all. And my sister, who I think might be my manager, I'm not sure, we're gonna work that out. But anyhow, she wanted me to go over this again. So today you can go to her 12th year, that's her12th year.com, and you can order your books. You can order your ebook right now on Amazon. If you'd like the book autographed, then you just need to let me know that. Until midnight, the books are 30% off. We have programs for people who want to order 10 or more. And let's see what else is on here. Next week, we're going to have it on our other website, dhelevation.com. We're going to merge the two websites so that people can just go to one place. Oh, and please join her 12th year community on Facebook. This is a place and a space. If you are a mentor, if you are a teacher of this age group, if you are a family member, a parent, someone who is raising an 11 to 14-year-old girl, this is a space for you all to share your questions, your comments, your resources. We really need to be together and just support them and support each other, because it's not easy. It is not easy. You know, but we will get through this. And Dr. Joanna said, she said she didn't know if she was going to get through this kind of time with her daughter, but you will get through it, believe me, and as much support as you can have. And sometimes it's good just to say, you know what, you just stay in your room over there. I'm gonna stay over here, and it's okay, because there's space between us, and we'll both live to see the next day, because sometimes that's real. I'm just saying. People would ask me how Kamari is doing. I was like, she's still alive. And so here she is 15 years later. But I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you for all the birthday wishes, all the love, and all the support. So with that, you want to say anything, Brenda?
Yes, I want to thank everyone also. Thank everyone for joining. And of course, we don't have the bells and whistles right now, but we want to thank you for in advance for purchasing your books. We have that volume purchases available. So please do just ching ching, make it ring. You know I'm a poet. But oh yes.
What? Oh, you know what? Get the poem off. That's right.
Oh,
We're gonna end it. You saw it? It's on the wall. Absolutely enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we're gonna end with my poem. The poem is in the book. At the end of the book, you heard Kamaria say there's a letter to our daughters. I actually wrote a letter to them just to tell them how awesome they are, and that they are enough. And so, Brenda, do you see it? Okay. So I'm gonna read that poem now.
And this is awesome.
All right. So, and this book is also in, the poem is also in Listen, Your Positive Inner Voice, which B. Michelle wrote. All right. Absolutely enough. Tell me, when does it stop? When do we declare our spot? When do we reach the top of our own mountains and shout, I am enough? I'm just asking when. When do we make our own sun rise and set? When do we play our own game and bet on ourselves to win and stop letting others determine the rules and the parameters, and we just sit back with regret? I'm just asking when. When will I be enough? Enough for myself, enough for you, enough for them, enough for the job, enough for the world. Well, I tell you what, I take my stand. I declare I am in demand. In my own life, I command all the best of me and rest of me to comprehend that I am absolutely enough. With my flaws and my scars, I set my goals for the stars. In my own right, I have all I need to be who I am right now and in the future, because I am enough. And parents, mentors, you are enough. You don't have to have all the answers, because I didn't have all the answers, but just give what you have. All right. And let our kids know that they are enough. When they can look online and see all this flash and, oh, they look good and all sorts of stuff, you know, some of that is fake. Some of it, they don't know what the person did to get to that point, but they are enough just as they are. So I just want to encourage you and just share this love with you, because you all have shared love with me, and I thank you. So with that, we're going to say goodnight. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. So I was getting some snaps over here. But anyhow, I want to say goodnight. Hey, Trey. I just appreciate all of you, Karen, all of you. I can't see everybody's name. Jan is on here. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. Oh, last one.
Comment from Sherilyn Payton.
Sherilyn Payton, yes.
Dr. Lisa Tillman, Sistrunk, you have my full support. I love you and all that you are doing. You are amazing.
Oh, thank you. That's my super soul twin. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all, you know, all the way from Germany and wherever you are. I just appreciate you. And just remember, you are enough and life is amazing. So let's just go out there and let's do this. So have a good evening. Bye. So that's right. Elevate your ordinary. That's my tagline. Elevate your ordinary. Hey, Terry, elevate.